Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Ashley's Treasure, and today I'm doing the April collaboration, the ABC April collaboration, and today is the letter O, and I really like this one. I was thinking of ovals, because a lot of times we always use squares and rectangles, sometimes circles, but not that often like ovals and hexagons and triangles and stuff, so trying to think of other shapes. So I'm going to make a tag, and then I'm going to use my die cuts and have an oval in it. So I was looking through my die cuts. I do have this one that has different different ones. And then I have my infinity one, which is great. I might use that one. If not, I have this one that are about a little bit more narrow, and I really like how they're narrow. So I think I might be using that one. And then I was going to use these Tim Holtz, cards, but since then I'm going to make a hole, and then I'm going to put acetate through it, and so then that way I would need two of them, and because of these being double-sided, I don't really want to like lose one side. So I was thinking of using just some cardstock, and then adding, I have these papers that I got from Temu that I really like. These ones are like receipt ones, and I thought some of these would actually look kind of interesting as that. Like ones like this and stuff. And then have the oval in it, and then this tag, have a hole, add an eyelet. And then I wanted to have pressed flowers in there because I was looking through field notes, Tim Holtz field notes, and he has like all these little butterflies. I'm like, oh, that'd be so cute, having a butterfly or something in there. So then I started thinking, I really don't like how it's on one side and not on the other side. So, they do have these like transparent ones, but you can still, it doesn't really show the other side. So I thought about using, mushrooms would be great too, but flowers that I have pressed flowers and like leaves and stuff. So I'm kind of going off from that. So I have those ones that I've pressed. I actually have some leaves in here that I've pressed and added in here. So I have some flowers in here. I got some leaves, some little ones, different types. So I could do those. I also have this container that has some little pressed flowers, but these ones are quite small. But I could use like this one because it's a little bit longer, so that'd be great for a long, skinny oval one. So I got some possibilities. So first, I think I need to choose which pressed plant, and then find which one of these would fit best for it, I think. So I'm going to do that first. Okay, I got which die I'm going to use for which plant, which one I think fits it the best. I was only going to do like 3, but I really wanted to do a small one too. And then I was looking through my Tim Holtz, the field notes, and the ephemera, and I have all these like big pieces, and I was looking through, I saw these two, and I was thinking of using these ones for this, having this one here. And then, granted, this one has bugs on it, and this is going to be a plant, but I thought it would look cute here, and maybe it could be these plants are attracted to that plant, or these bugs are attracted to that plant, maybe, or something like that, and then, knit the corners. Look how cute that would be. But I don't know, would that still have room for an eyelet there or not? Yeah. It'll be cut and short, but I have to remember that. So I have to be like right about here. Then have the plant there, acetate on both sides. And these ones are only one-sided, so I wouldn't feel bad using them. And then I can use one of those papers, or I can use just like coffee dyed paper that I have on the back, and then just dress the edges. I kind of like that sound. So I think that's where I'm going to go. But these ones, I'm going to have to use paper on here because I couldn't find any other ones in here that I like that would go with it. So I'm going to find one of those to go with each one of these. Okay, I think these are the ones I'm going to use. So I need to put these through the die cut, or glue these onto the cardstock first, these two, and then put it through the die cut.
So I'm going to use my my glue stick for this and um, glue it down really good. Make sure I got all of it. And I try connecting the corner first and then the sides, and then use my little squeegee to make sure all the bubbles and everything is out and that it's all stuck well. Doing the same thing for the second one, going all four sides, fill the whole thing up, and then I connect the corner, then the bottom, then the side, and so that way it's all lined up perfectly. And now it's time to put through the trimmer. I just cut the top part off because they were the same height, and then the sides. And then I'm going to use that scrap piece for the small ones.
Just for a tip, when you're taping your die cuts on, make sure you have them facing the right way. Alright, so now I got them all four taped and ready to go through the die cut machine. Okay, so I put them through, and I added the white cardstock behind it. I didn't do them perfectly the same size, as this piece, but I did that so that at least I have an oval ready to go so I can match it up and then trim the rest off, because I'm going to need a back part too. And I noticed I ended up putting it through twice because I noticed the first time it wasn't completely tearing off the greatest, so I put it through twice on all of them. I'm now going to remove the little pieces, the die cuts. And granted, it left the, I don't know if you can see, yeah, see all that because all the pressings onto my boards. It doesn't matter because it's going to be covered up anyways. But that actually looked kind of cool, like distressed. And then there's still this side as well. So, and now it's time to glue the coffee paper onto the backs.
So again, I'm just going to use my glue stick and make sure it is all stuck well around the oval and all four sides and all around it. And I'm not necessarily worried about getting the exactly lined up because it's going to be trimmed down. And then I use my little squeegee and to make sure it's all pressed well and there's no air bubbles, and doing the same with the rest. This one I noticed for some reason, like at first I had it fit that way, and then for some reason now it wasn't fitting that way. So I had to glue it on sideways. And I accidentally, when I was smoothing it out, I accidentally got caught in the oval, and so it kind of got caught folded in a little bit, but I was able to fix that later on. And then these ones I had to trim down a little bit more, but make sure that it wasn't too small, so that it would fit on the paper. And this is when I finally got out a book page to use to glue everything down, which was a lot better.
Okay, so now I have all of these and punched out, and so now it's time to start adding the acetate in between it, and I need 2 layers so that the flower can be in both sides.
So I found that little piece of acetate, that rectangle shape, and I cut it in half because I knew it would be enough for both of them. And so now I'm laying the two pieces together and cutting down as big as I need the top. So now I got 2 layers for the top and then 2 layers for the bottom. And then for the narrow one, this one, I found another scrap of acetate and I found it was easier just folding it in half. So I knew it would be the same size and then just snipping off the part that's folded so it wouldn't be two-dimensional. And I did the same thing with this large one here. How I found another scrap, I folded it in half so it would be big enough and then trimming off that fold so that way it lays flat. And now I got my really thin double-sided tape. I was going to use my ATG gun, which that tape is about 1/4 of an inch thick. But I haven't used it in so long and I forgot that I didn't refill it, so I didn't want to take the time doing that. I just grabbed my thinner one. This is like, was it 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch thick? I normally use this for doing shakers. But I'm just, because being oval and not a square yet, I'm just doing little sections at a time going around it. And then I'm going to varnish it by pressing it down to make sure it's all stuck well. And then just removing all the little backings of the double-sided tape and pressing down. I don't normally like using art glitter glue because it goos inside of it. It seems like every time I do use it, no matter how far back, it still ends up finding its way in and it drives me nuts. So that's why I prefer using double-sided tape. And that's when I remembered that I forgot to distress the inside of the oval. So I'm hurrying up doing that on this one really quick. And then the tape is so sticky, I could not get it off. So I just had to distress over the acetate. And then I just took a piece of paper towel and rubbed off the ink. And now I'm removing the backing of the tape and going to put the next piece of acetate over it. And trying to get all the fingerprints off of it. And now I'm trying to lay the little flower on there, and it was kind of staticky, so it was stuck on there. And then I'm going to use art glitter glue, but not on the acetate, just like the paper part around it. So that way it won't really ooze in. And then just trying to line it up, but it was staticky, so it kept like sticking to the top. It was a little challenging for a second, but I think I got it. And then it was slippery enough I could make sure that both ends were lined up just right. And now for the next one, I did remember to distress them this time, and I also did a little bit from the inside, so that way if they're not lined up 100%, that I won't show white. And this time, instead of using the double-sided tape, I wanted to try using glue stick. I wanted to see how well this would work. And this type is permanent, so I'm pretty positive that it'll stick well, and I think it turned out really good. And that way I don't have to worry about the glue oozing everywhere. So I did that with both of them really quick and trying to line them up just right. And then I just kind of pressed the sides around the oval to make sure it stuck well. And this one I'm going to use the little leaf. And so I'm placing that on the bottom first, and then I will glue the top one on there. So here I'm just kind of going around it and a little bit on the acetate, but not too close. And then squishing it in there. And it did end up being a good thing that I inked the inside as well, because the stem of the leaf is kind of thick, so it kind of left like an open gap so you can kind of see there. So I'm glad that I distressed that and not leave it open, or else the white would be shown and drive me nuts. And then the other two, the acetate has this clear coating on it that I had to remove. They do that to help protect it so I won't get all scratched up. The first two, it already was off. This one was not. So luckily I remembered to remove that first. And yeah, just trying to line the plant up just right, placing that down, and then layering the back of it on top. And now on the fourth one, you think that I would have a system down. Now that's my last one, and I glued it together, and I completely forgot to distress the inside of the oval. Luckily, like, you couldn't quite see any gaps. It was lined up pretty good, and I didn't have any like stems or any part of the plant going out of the oval, so there wasn't such a gap you wouldn't see the white anyways, so that wasn't bad. But and I was able to go onto the plastic or the acetate because it would rub right off. So I luckily was able to get that fixed. And now I'm just going to use my trimmer and try getting all the excess off. I did one side first, and then I was able to line that up so that all four sides were straight. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now that is all perfect, ready to go. Just need a little bit more. Apparently it wasn't perfect. And now the second one. The first one was a little bit hard because you had to get it lined up just right and I couldn't quite see. But it worked. And now these two, I knew I wanted to trim some of it off, so I measured to make sure I had the same amount on both sides, and it ended up being like 3/4 of an inch. So I did a little mark there so that I knew where to trim it. So I did the bottom first, and then the left side, and then the top I wanted to trim down too. I did not want it that tall, and also because it was like a receipt of something, and I can't remember what it was, but it didn't have anything to do with plants. And then I just trimmed where I marked the pencil, and then I had to do the same thing with this one. This one was just 1/2 inch. And so it's, again, I'm just trimming the bottom off, lining it up just right. I kind of use my finger, and so I can feel how far it needs to go to trim, and that really does help. So that way it's lined up just right. And then this one as well, this one, I think, yeah, live feed and everything, that has nothing to do with the plant, so I'm going to trim that off, and then make sure it has the same 1/2 inch on the right side. And now they are all ready to go, and I was going to use my corner punch to trim them, but it was so thick I was afraid of breaking it, and plus some of them I couldn't even get in all the way. So I have this flash card that has one corner like this. I didn't do that. It was all of the factory were made that way, so that way you when you put the index or the flashcards away, that they're all facing the right way. It has that one corner on the one side, and I've been using that as kind of like a template for when I do tags and stuff for bigger ones like this, and I really liked that. So I just line it up with one corner, then flip the tag over and cut the other corner so that they're the exact same. One of them I ended up thinking of not doing, the one with the bugs on it. It had so much on there, it didn't seem necessary to cut the corners. I didn't want to remove that. And this one the glue started oozing in there. I don't know what is going on there. And now it is time for using the crocodile. I'm going to put some eyelets in there. So I'm just getting 4 of them ready. And they also have the little washers in the back. I do actually like using them as well. And since I have them, might as well use them. So I used the little washer and marked where exactly I wanted them. And so now I know exactly where I want to punch the hole. And now I'm going to distress even where the I just punched the hole. I want that distressed as well. And so I'm going to do that on all 4 of them really quick, the front and the back. And now I'm going to distress all the sides, front and back. And now that it's all distressed front and back, and now it is time to put the eyelets in. So I'm just placing them all in really quick. And then I'm going to add the washers on them and then pressing them with the crocodile. Now are all 4 of them ready to go for the next stage?
Okay, so I got pieces from Field Note. I have the mini ones and the regular size ones to play with. I'm going to add on here. I got my number strips. I got the curators. And then I also have all my numbers.
And so I kind of got an idea what I'm going to do with this one. I kind of had like a red and blue thing going on. So I had like a cluster in the top left and one on the bottom right. I had something that was blue and something that was red. And of course I distressed everything. Once I distress one thing, I have to distress everything. That little label I actually trimmed down because it had some white around it. So I just kind of trimmed that off. I also distressed the back of this little number strip because I didn't want the white to show when you look from the back. So I made sure I distressed that first, and I didn't want to add glue on there. So I kind of made sure that I didn't add any glue there. And then this is one of the little numbers that I did for the letter N. No, I did numbers. And I am loving the way that turned out. And there's the back, and you can see it's distressed, so it's not white. Here is to the next one. I had a scrap piece of a label. This is one of the number strips. I actually slimmed down. I cut the top and bottom to make it slimmer. And then I used another one of the little numbers. And I really like this one because it had a green, which went well with the green leaf. The one with the little flower, I didn't think that really needed any extra pieces because there's already so much on it with the bugs and everything. So I'm just going to leave that one as is. This one, I don't know what is up with it, but the glue kept getting worse and worse. I swear, there just kept being more and more oozing in, and it was driving me nuts. So I was really disappointed with that one. And so I found this big label, and I thought maybe I could fold this in half and cover a chunk of the glue that's oozing it out. So I distressed it really well and going to put it there on the left side. And then I used a little number strip and kind of trimming it down. And I like to trim the corners a little bit so it's not so straight.
Okay, so my memory is running low, so it keeps cutting off on me. But I put some of my boo-boo tape, you know, my aged cello tape that I dyed. Did some on here. I'm not going to do the back because it's super late, and I will eventually put a topper on depending what project I put it in, so I was kind of going to wait for that. But I am loving the way this turned out. Look at the plant in there. You see it from both sides. This one, I still can't make up my mind if I want to cut that part off yet or not, or just keep that on there. I might cut it down because it's already such a big one. But I also put some tape here, and then what was left, it fit perfect right here in this corner. I am not loving this glue oozing on it. See, that's why I don't really use art glitter glue with these most of the time, because that always ends up happening. But it does start to dry clear, but you can still see where it was. Sorry about the glare. But I'm loving, I was really excited about this because this is one of the best geranium flowers that I got, that I pressed. I was kind of bummed out how that turned out, but I think all these kind of help distract it from all of that, and hopefully it'll clear better. And then this one is really simple. I did not such a yellow this time. I did more of a gray color because I like the greens going on in here. And that's one of the numbers that I did for N for numbers. There's some of the tape. There's a leftover from the labels. I got like Tim Holtz labels in here that I also used. And then I slimmed down this number trim, and then this one, I didn't really think needed anything because it already has so much going on, and so I added some of the tape on there. But again, I definitely need something here, but I'm not quite worried about the back right now. But yeah, I am absolutely loving these. Alright, so here is like a close-up of it so you can see better. And then here are the two smaller ones. I'm loving these. Which one's your favorite? I actually think this little leaf one is my favorite. I was super excited about this one, and like the glue really messed that up, so I'm kind of bummed out about that. But I'm still loving these. They, I think, are so fun and turned out great. Don't forget to use your oval dies more often if you have any, because normal times we don't use ovals that much. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!